Canelo Alvarez rips Ryan Garcia, calls him a little kid that don't know and ain't never accomplished nothing, and a kid that just run his mouth and needs to shut up. So subscribe to the channel and smash the like button so we can get into this next video. So recently, Canelo Alvarez did an interview with Akin Barak. Now, at the same time, Ryan Garcia did his own interview. I didn't see the interview that Ryan Garcia, where they're saying that Ryan Garcia said that he thinks that Canelo Alvarez will get beat by Triple G. Now, I didn't see that interview. I saw another interview with Ryan Garcia talking about the Triple G and Canelo fight, and I'll play that for y'all later on in this video so y'all can hear exactly what Ryan Garcia had to say. But in this interview that Canelo did, Canelo was asked, how does he feel about Ryan Garcia saying that Triple G will beat him and Triple G could knock him out in this rematch that they got going on, which everybody knows that Triple G and Canelo have a trilogy fight that's coming up in September, a fight that should have happened, like 4 years ago. I don't know why they fight now, but it don't really matter what I think because the fight gonna go on regardless, So Canelo was asked that question, and Canelo was like, look, man, Ryan Garcia is a little kid that just runs his mouth. He don't know shit. All he does is talk. He need to worry about fighting some of the competition that he been ducking in his weight class, like Gervonta Tank Davis. And he said he needs to stop worrying about what he's doing in his career and focus on his own career. He says because Ryan Garcia hasn't done nothing in his career. He hasn't accomplished shit in his career. And so, Canelo Alvarez is starting to talk a whole lot of trash lately. We seen it start in the Caleb Plant fight, right? He didn't really talk too much in the Bivol fight, right? But we seen the outcome of that. But Canelo Alvarez is starting to be very vocal, and leading up to this Triple G fight, Canelo Alvarez seems like he's just pissed off. Now, he admitted that he was embarrassed by the L that he took with Bivol. This is what he said. He said he was scared of the loss that he took. So that lets me know that it was hard for him to cope that he got another L on his record, because we know with the Floyd Mayweather situation, everybody made an excuse like, oh, he was too young and everybody loses to Floyd and all of that. So I don't think that affected him as much as this Bivol loss affected Canelo Alvarez. But moving along, Ryan Garcia, we know that Ryan Garcia and Canelo were supposed to be very close at one point. Ryan Garcia was calling Canelo his big brother, right? And it was like a big brother, little brother relationship between Ryan Garcia and Canelo Alvarez. And then Ryan Garcia, he came out with some accusations saying that, their whole camp is just focused on Canelo. He goes to the gym, and Eddie Rynso, Canelo's manager and coach, is always focused on Canelo. All he does is, he wants to train Canelo. He really want to give the other fighters in his camp little attention, if any at all. So he says that he had to leave Eddie Rynoso because all of the focus was on Canelo. Then Canelo had came back and he clapped back at Ryan Garcia, saying that Ryan Garcia is lazy, saying that Ryan Garcia only go in there, throw a few punches for the camera, and then get his bags and leave. That Ryan Garcia don't want to train. That's why he's pulling out of fights, because he's never in shape and he don't prepare himself. So, and then Ryan Garcia, he had came back and he had spoke on the situation and said that it was all a lie. That Canelo was just taking up for Eddie Rynoso because he knows that Eddie Rynoso is not there in his own gym half of the time. And the only time he's really there is when Canelo has an upcoming fight and he's putting all his focus into Canelo. Well, now we're kind of seeing that some of what Ryan Garcia was saying has validity to it, because you've seen people leaving the Eddie Rynoso stable. You see that Frank Sanchez, the heavyweight fighter, he's left Eddie Rynoso. You see that Andy Ruiz has left Eddie Rynoso. And I know Andy Ruiz ain't really a good example because we all know that Andy Ruiz is lazy, you know what I'm saying, and be out of shape most of his career. We all heard what Bob Arum said about Andy Ruiz, that how Bob Arum had to drop Andy Ruiz because he didn't believe in him, because he was always fat and would never stay in shape. We all know what Andy Ruiz's former trainer said about him before he got with Eddie Rynoso, saying that Andy Ruiz would hardly never show up to the gym. They would have to call and beg Andy Ruiz to come train, and how lazy Andy Ruiz was. So Andy Ruiz has a history of being lazy, right? Now, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, this is the first time that we really had heard anything about Ryan Garcia being lazy and not wanting to work in the gym, is when Canelo brought it up, right? Is when Canelo brought it up, and then Eddie Rynoso talked about it, right? That was the first time that we ever had heard anything about Ryan Garcia being lazy, because all we know as media and as fans is that Ryan Garcia is a very hard worker, because every time we see Ryan Garcia post up a video, he's sweating, he hitting a bag, he doing something. But, you know, they said that shit was just all for show, you know. Now, Ryan Garcia, he has a new trainer, Joe Goosen. And Joe Goosen says that Ryan Garcia is one of the hardest workers that he's ever worked with. Now, I don't know if he's saying that just because that's one of his main fighters now, or if he really is one of the hardest workers that he's ever worked with before. You know, Joe Goosen is a historic trainer. He's trained a lot of great fighters, and so he got a lot of validity in the sport of boxing. So people gonna listen to what Joe Goosen say. But it's crazy that now Ryan Garcia and Canelo Alvarez, they look like that they becoming enemies, you know? They throwing shots at each other all the time. Like I said, I didn't hear or see the interview that people are saying that Ryan Garcia said that Triple G would beat Canelo in this third fight. Because if Ryan Garcia said anything like Triple G would beat Canelo in this third fight, Ryan Garcia is just talking out his ass. Right? He's just talking out his ass, because he can't possibly believe that. Everybody knows that Triple G is old and washed up, and ain't no way in hell that Triple G is gonna beat Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Canelo know that. That's why he took this third fight. It's an easy payday for him. The fight looked like it's gonna do big numbers now, because they promoting this fight like crazy. You know, they was at Yankee Stadium promoting it. They doing a lot of media, a lot of press. So they're putting a lot of money behind promoting this fight to make sure that this Canelo and Triple G fight does very big numbers. Now, I don't know what it's going to do, and I don't have like a guess of what it's going to do, but I think it's going to do big numbers just by the way that they promote it. Now, like I said, Canelo Alvarez, he went on to say that he thinks that Gervonta Tank Davis will knock out Ryan Garcia. And I don't think that Canelo Alvarez was just saying that to get back at Ryan Garcia and go tit for tat for Ryan Garcia, because if y'all remember a couple years ago when Ryan Garcia first started calling out Gervonta Davis, Canelo Alvarez was really close to Ryan Garcia at that point in time, and Canelo Alvarez came out and he says no. I don't think he's ready for Gervonta Davis. I don't think he's ready for Tank. I think he needs more experience and more fights under his belt, and he needs to work on the flaws that he has before he get in there with Gervonta Davis. And so Canelo been saying that. Now, if you look at Ryan Garcia's career, Ryan Garcia's had long layoffs. He's pulled out of a lot of fights due to mental health issues and whatever injuries he's had. Ryan Garcia hasn't shown us nothing to tell us that he's ready to get in the ring with a Tank Davis at this point in time. So I actually agree with Canelo when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? I agree with Canelo. But let me let y'all hear what Ryan Garcia had to say about Canelo, because I didn't hear what everybody else is saying that Ryan Garcia said, and I'll play it right now.
That I felt like there was a lack of focus and you know, a lack of time. So I just made a decision just based on myself, just truthfully, like, you know, Eddie's a great trainer, but you have to still be there every day. It doesn't matter how great you are. You know what I mean? You have to be there every day. And I think they're going to do good against Triple G, and I hope the best for the whole team moving forward. And And I have never bad feelings towards anybody. I hope they're doing okay.
So y'all heard it for yourself. Y'all heard Ryan Garcia say that he believes that Eddie Rynoso and Canelo Alvarez will do well against Triple G. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like to me that Ryan Garcia knows that Canelo Alvarez is going to go in there and put Triple G dick in the dirt. He's going to knock his ass out. So he didn't really say nothing bad on that interview. He just talked about beforehand, he talked about why he had to leave that camp. Because they was putting all the focus into Canelo Alvarez, that Eddie Rynoso wasn't around training his fighters like he's supposed to do, right? And what he's making it sound like is Eddie Rynoso started getting fame off of Canelo's career. He started getting big-headed, and then he started not being in the gym, being a full-time trainer. Whatever it may be, like I said, Canelo Alvarez, he not holding his tongue back on Ryan Garcia at all, and he clapping at Ryan Garcia. Let me know what y'all think about this. Hit my like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subbed to the channel, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.